Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and since it's Women's History Month, I'm here today to talk to you about 2 Weeks to Live. This is a very peculiar show. It's a mini-series, so it only lasted for one season. And so, for the most part, the ending to the last episode, in episode 6, does end the conclusion of this show. However, the creators try to sneak in a little something something to probably try to get renewed for a second season. So I kind of wish they didn't and would have just left it as it is. But I understand why they wanted a second season because, for the most part, even though it's a peculiar show, it's a fascinating show. It came out in 2020, and I'm just now hearing about this. Like, I don't know if it was just added to HBO Max or what, but it's on HBO Max, and technically it's considered an HBO show. And it's the second HBO show for that Macy Williams. Macy Williams, of course, is from Game of Thrones. I've only seen one season of Game of Thrones, so other than that, I've never seen her in nothing else. But it also stars Shane Clifford. I think it's pronounced Sheen. No, not Sheen, but it's pronounced Sean Clifford. She is from Fleabag. She played Fleabag's sister, and she's also from another HBO Max show, His Dark Material. She was a little fairy person in the last season. Well, one of the fairy people. She's the one who survived but disappeared halfway through the show. I don't know what happened to her character. And it also stars that of, now I'm gonna totally pronounce this wrong, Ma Wayne Wiz Coven? I don't know how to say his last name. my writing got smeared. And then it also stars, and I'm going to pronounce this wrong too, Tahine Modoc. And so, like, it's a show that throws you for a loop. It's a dark comedy action series. And for the most part, like 2 Weeks to Live, when I heard about that, and like I didn't watch the trailer, I didn't really read the whole synopsis. It was just about like there's a family, a mother daughter living off the grid, and the daughter runs away. And I'm like, okay, that's all I need to know, right? And so I'm like, 2 weeks to live. So what's her like disease, ailment, her illness? Like what is it? You know what I'm saying? And so when you watch the first episode, it's not about her living for 2 weeks because she has an illness. It's because she's been living off the grid for most of her life and she's been lied to by her mom. And so when she meets these two guys at random and stuff, one of them pulls a prank on her. He shows her old footage of like a nuclear bomb going off. And since her mom has given her fake anti-nuclear pills and everything in the forms of Tic Tacs, she thinks, oh no, there's only like 2 weeks to live. So she has to like speed up her schedule and everything. Well, what exactly is her schedule? So then, okay, so anyway. So with that just said, you would assume, okay, since it's a comedy and a little bit of an action, it's like a comedy drama type thing. You assume that like since they pulled the prank on her about the nuclear bomb and everything, and she thinks she only has 2 weeks to live, you assume that you're gonna watch a wacky hijinks type show of her trying to fit in normal society and trying to do everything she ever wanted to do before those 2 weeks is over. While one guy plays her and the other guy wants to tell her because he likes her, but doesn't. And then there's gonna be this big revelation where she finds out and she's mad at him. You assume it's gonna be like that, right? And it would have made more sense to be like that. But it's not. So I don't know why it's called 2 weeks to live. So what's it about? Well, when you get to the ending of it, first let me explain more of the first episode. So Macy, she plays that of Nikki. And Nikki ran away from Sean. No. Yeah, wait, no, wait. Macy plays Kim. My bad. I'm getting my names mixed up. So Macy, she plays a girl named Kim. And she runs away from Sean's character named Tina. And this isn't the first time she's ran away. She's tried it before, but her mom tranquilized her right before she got off the grid and stuff. And so anyway, she's finally able to like escape when her mom went hunting. And so when she shows up at like a diner, she's in this kind of makeshift kind of military jeep and everything. And so while she's there in the diner, the cook and everything, he's taking advantage of her by taking her money. Basically, in order to park her car and to get some water, then open the water and this and that and use the restroom, he keeps charging her $10 and everything. And she has plenty of money. But I don't know British money, so I don't know if it's $10 or is it really just like 100. Most likely it's 10. But anyway, I think they said pounds. So if it's pounds, that's the equivalent of like $1. So it's $10 and everything. And so she goes to the restroom and she plays the dopey, out of fish type character very well, an innocent type character. And then so the waitress is his wife, and she tries to stop him from taking advantage of her, but he won't let her, and he talks to her all nasty. So when she goes into the restroom, she's all like, he's taking advantage of you and blah blah blah, and she's all like, well, why would he do that and everything? Because she don't understand, because she's been like isolated for most of her life. And so like his wife tells her this and that, so she leaves the restroom. And when she leaves the restroom, then later, a couple of minutes later, the wife leaves the restroom, and then all of a sudden, her husband had got the crap beat out of him, and he's on the floor, passed out, and you see Macy's character like drive off. So then it's kind of like, okay, how does this little girl who looks like she's about 5 foot whoop on this grown man? So then it's kind of like, that's your first signal that something's up with that. And then so like she tries to give Kim her money, but she's like, oh no, that's all right. And then she gets poked in the eye with something. She's trying to put sunglasses on her face, and she gets poked in the eye. So then it's like, oh, okay, it's that awkward comedy stuff, but it's slapstick, so it's okay. Because Disney Marvel does that a lot, where something serious will happen, then something funny, awkward will happen, then they go back to the serious stuff. And that's something I really hate, because I'm tired of seeing that, because I got enough of that with Buffy, and I'm getting enough of that with the MCU, but it's slapstick, so that's okay. It's not okay in the show when they do it with verbal humor and stuff. Then it's just like, stop trying to rip off the MCU. And like, it's getting on my nerves. So then it's kind of like, okay, so it's like a little fun, quirky comedy. And then so at some point in time, she ends up in like a bar or a club, and there are two guys there. That's when the Jay and Nikki characters show up, and they're brothers. And so they're the ones for comedic relief. And so he's trying to get Nikki back in the dating scene. So then he starts talking to Kim. And so she could barely walk because she don't know how to walk in high heels and everything. And so she rips like the heel off her shoe and puts it in her drink. Anyway, she follows them back to their place. They watch movies. She tells them, she's been off the grid. She ran away from mom. Her mom only allowed her to watch 4 movies, things like Terminator, stuff like that. And so this is when Jay's all like, oh, we gotta pull that prank. So then he shows a video of the world ending and stuff. And she's like, oh no, and everything. And then so like at some point in time when those two are talking, she leaves. And so Nikki, he's the nice one, and he also likes her. He's like, look, man, we gotta follow her and like tell her, the world's not ending and stuff. Well, while she was in like Nikki's in them place, she's I think in the restroom, and she pulls out like a gun. So I'm like, wait, hold up, where is this going? So then she drives off and she goes to her man's mansion. They follow, but they get there a few minutes late. And then so like when she's there, she shoots one of the guards and like with a silencer. And I'm just like, what the world's going on here now? And so she's sneaking around like the house, and then she finds the man who lives there. I forget his name. It's not really important. but they fight big time. It's comedic and action at the same time. And so, like, she ends up whooping on him, and then at some point, he tries to talk his way out of it. And he's all like, look, man, I know why you're here, and blah, blah, blah. So why she's there? Because he killed her father at age like 8 or 9. And she saw the whole thing. And after he shot like her father, the blood got like on her stuff, like penguin and stuff. So she's been looking for revenge for him this entire time. And so I'm like, well, this is kind of like Kill Billish. So what's the world going on? And so they talk about some more. The guys show up. She keeps looking out the window. He throws a knife at her back. She's pissed. And then he spears her through the window, and then they fall to the ground. And he dies. Blood's everywhere. So he's dead, right? And so the guys show up, and she's all like, I need help with the body. I'm just like, when did this turn Kill Billish and Huntress? Huntress, if you don't know, is a DC superhero female. She's from a wealthy family. The mob came in, murdered her family as she watched in the closet. She became a vigilante after that and became like the Huntress. And I'm just kind of like, this is weird. So, and that's the ending of the first episode. So it's like, so wait a minute, it's not going to be about a wacky hijinks, like 2 weeks to live type thing for a girl who lives off the grid and don't know nothing, and it turns into this Kill Bill type thing. So I'm just like, so it pulled the wool over people's eyes, but a switcheroo. And I'm just like, what the world is that about? And so it completely, the whole narrative of the whole 2 weeks to live thing, because now she knows it's completely fake what they did to her, pranked her. And now it goes on this dirty cop money type thing. I'm just like, huh? So this show confuses the crap out of me. Now, when it gets to the whole money cop thing, it's pretty interesting and cool. It's just that, why does it have everything else in it? Like, why does it have the humor in it? Why does it have the whole 2 weeks to live thing? The whole living off the grid thing? And it's like, if they would have just made it one thing, it would have been a whole lot more non-confusing and probably enjoyable for people. So this is why I'm saying, like, towards the end of the series, they tried to sneak in a little something that could give them a green light for the second season, but it did not work. And it's quite a shame too, because everybody's acting really good in this. So after this, one of the bodyguards come in and they shoot him, and then he's half alive. He's like, look, man, he's telling like Jay this. There's a bag up there with over like $50,000, something like that. Like, it's all yours if you can just get me out of here and get me to a hospital. So like, originally they were gonna get him to the hospital, but then she drives off because she's pissed about the prank and everything. And then later on, she comes back. Now, at some point in time, her mom finds out she ran away, and so she starts tracking her. She tracks her to the diner. The diner cooks all like, if I ever see her again, I'll do this to her. So she ends up whooping on him. And so then she keeps tracking him down, and she eventually finds him at the place. And so they wrap up the body, and then they bury it and stuff. But then they have to kill the bodyguard dude. He tried to kill them and stuff. And so Jay took the money and didn't tell nobody. And so when they're in the woods and everything, they're getting rid of the body, and the mom does not like the guy, especially Nikki, because he kissed that of Kim. And so like, she's mad at her mom for lying to her, this and that. So in a way, 2 other bodyguard type people show up at the place, not knowing that dude is dead. One is Alan Brooks, and the other one is just known as Thompson. And so she's new to the whole thing, and they find out like, that the body's dead and all this and that. And so like, they trying to think that, oh, maybe the bodyguard did it or something like that. But then they look at the video footage and they find out who actually all did it. So they contact their boss, and I forget the boss name, but it's a woman who knew the guy who died. And I think her name is Terry, and Terry wants the money and she wants revenge on them killing that dude. So then Jay, when they're back at their place and everything, the mom finds out he stole the money, and she's all like, "Give it back! Like, don't even keep it! Like, you don't want to have to deal with that." So he's gonna give it back. So when he goes back to get the bag, he finds a pregnancy test. It's his girlfriend, and so he realizes since he hasn't made much of himself, that money will really help out. So he keeps it and everything, but he decides to go to the police. Well, guess who the police are? The detectives. It's Alan Brooks and it's Thompson. So they're dirty cops. And so now they know that, this is one of the dudes they've been looking for and they want the money. So they have him put like a tracker so he can put it on like Kim and the mom and everything. Well, he decides not to and put it on an old lady. He puts it in her fish. He works at a grocery store. So when the old lady eats the fish, it has the tracker in it and she chokes and dies. I told you it's a dark comedy. So eventually they find his girlfriend. And she won't even tell him that she's pregnant because, stuff like that. And so they put a tracker on her. She's looking for her boyfriend. She tracks his phone. And then so she finds all of them camping out in the woods and stuff. And so at this point in time, Kim is really frustrated at her mom for lying. It turns out the reason why her mom lied, because her mom just doesn't want her to leave her. She loves her and everything. She wants to protect her. And so eventually, they all meet up with the girlfriend and then the cops show up and he has more cops. And so they go out to the cabin where they live at and they start shooting up the place. And it's a big gunfire back and forth. Well, eventually they get the upper hand on all of them, and so they're all out, and the cops reveal to Kim what's really going on, how all this started. It turns out that Tina, the mom, used to be a cop as well, and Alan was her partner, and Tina was a dirty cop, and she was working for that mob dude. And so she wanted out, but she was too far in, and of course when you're too far in, or you're just in a little bit, you can't get out because you can rat them out. So of course they put a hit on her, and so he went to kill her. And so but he couldn't find her. He found the dad instead. And so that's when that dude murdered her father right in front of her, but he left the girl alive because he just felt too bad for her. And so now Kim's super pissed at her mom, talking about this is all your fault. Well, in a way, everybody end up, all the bad people end up getting shot, and Thompson ends up getting blown up. And so Alan being shot because Thompson shot Alan because Alan was gonna let them all get away, but he just wants the money. So Thompson didn't like that because Thompson knows that that woman wants wants the money and those people dead. And if she don't get that, she's gonna kill both Alan and Thompson. So anyways, towards the end, when you think everybody's all dead except for the good people and stuff, Tina has told Kim, it's time for you to explore the world and leave and, and all this other stuff. No, wait. Yeah, she does tell her that at first. And then Kim writes a letter talking about, I can't stay. I have to explore the world. I might never forgive you, blah, 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 but I have to explore this world for my own and blah, 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 blah. So she walks off with a big old book bag full of stuff. And then she starts running and everything, all happy and excited because she's finally free, right? And so Nikki and Jay and the girlfriend, they went their separate ways. They didn't even keep the money. They just went their separate ways. And, Jay and his girlfriend had a talk about, oh, why didn't you tell me you was pregnant and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And so we see Tina, and then all of a sudden we see Alan. He's alive, but he's been shot in the back, but he's alive, and he has the money. And he tells Tina, this is the part where they try to get like a greenlit for a second season. He's all like, you didn't tell her the full truth, did you? And she's like, no, but eventually she'll find out. So apparently there's something else that Kim does not know about, like her mom being a dirty cop, her father getting shot as a result of it, all this mob stuff and everything. And so like he's like, So he leaves and walks off, and Kim and Tina just like, I don't know what she does, probably goes in the house or something like that. And so then we just see Kim just running with a big smile on her face because she's free like a bird. And I'm just kind of like, what the heck did I just watch? It's enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. It's enjoyable and everything. If they just would have kept to the whole like revenge plot and like, dirty cops and money, that would have been totally fine. But then throwing in the whole like, 2 weeks to live thing, that was just kind of bizarre and weird. 'Cause the first episode really takes you for a loop and it takes you out the entire series. I still don't know why it's even called 2 weeks to live if like, it had nothing to do with her dying and everything or anybody else dying. So this is one of those shows that like they goofed up. They should have just kept it one thing and followed that one storyline. But instead, they tried to pull the like, haha, isn't this funny? We tricked you and everything. And so that kind of left people probably bewildered and everything. It's kind of like, why be, and it's like, why the confusion? Like, why? That's not funny. But it's a dark comedy, but that's not funny when you trick people into thinking it's about something. That's how all these movie trailers are now. A movie trailer will make you seem like it's about one thing and it's about something completely different, like Kangaroo Jack that came out in the 90s. Basically, the trailer has two guys hanging out with a talking kangaroo who wears clothes. So you think it's going to be a wacky movie, but it's not. It's actually very dark and everything. I think it has to do with the mob and everything like that. And the kangaroo barely talks in the movie, or it doesn't even really talk at all. And so it's kind of like, that's so deceitful and everything. This is why a lot of movie studios are getting sued right now, because there's a bill that's been put out that where if you make a movie trailer and you lie to the audience about what the movie's about, you can get sued. Not like Avengers Infinity War, where you think the Hulk is in it, but instead it's Bruce Banner in a Hulk Buster suit. And not like Spider-Man No Way Home, where you see only one Spider-Man, but it's actually three of them. Not like that kind of deceitful. I'm talking about like Kangaroo Jack deceitful and everything. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.